Chatechesis.
Good morning, welcome to Radio Maria Ireland and our Chatechesis moment here on this Friday the 15th of July, the feast day of Saint Bonaventure, wonderful saint of the church he was too. Let me just read the little paragraph we were given today. 1274 was the year he died. Born in Tuscany, Minister General of the Franciscans, Cardinal Archbishop of Albano, theologian of the Council of Lyon. So indeed, I think a doctor of the church, to my knowledge too. We might get back to St. Bonaventure a little bit later on. So now it's nice to have your company, and shout out and wave to everybody on Facebook and YouTube. Nice to have your company too. And please do get in touch with us. 089467200 is the text and WhatsApp number, +353 of course, if you're in the north or outside of Ireland. 089467200 is the number. So thanks very much indeed to any of you who wish to text and get in touch with us here. If you'd like to phone us, please 014-123456 to get in touch via phone. And thanks to Chris, who's downstairs ready and answering the phone there with your calls. And again, email info@radiomaria.ie. Now, we enjoyed our guests certainly yesterday, Archbishop William Slattery, the Archbishop Emeritus of Pretoria, sharing with us extraordinary news and his many years of vast experience in South Africa. Closer to home now a bit perhaps, and wonderful news and wonderful activity that's going on in Youth 2000 these days. So I'm joined on the line by Helena O'Shea, who's the National Coordinator of Youth 2000. So good morning, Helena, and welcome.
Good morning, Father. Thank you so much for having me.
Not at all. All is well with you, I hope.
All is good, thank God. Yes, we're enjoying the lovely weather, and we're in full swing preparations for the festival and for our day there with you tomorrow as well.
Fantastic. Up to your neck in Youth 2000. Young people leading youth to Christ and to the church. Wonderful work, and we're delighted to have you on and really looking forward to your coming to the studio tomorrow to share with us. So Helena, please give us an update and tell us all that's planned. I know your festival is coming up very soon as well.
Yes, well, we have our summer festival is from the 11th to the 14th of August this year. It's going to be in Clane in County Kildare in Clonbuzwood College. And we're really, really looking forward to it. We haven't been able to be together for the festival in person for the last 2 years as we know and love the festival. So we're really, really looking forward to this year. So at the moment, we're really focusing on reaching out, trying to invite people, reach out to as many new people as possible. And just, asking people for support with prayers and donations and things like that. And so tomorrow we're really looking forward to, I suppose, sharing a little bit of the taste of the Youth 2000 experience with your listeners. And we're going to join you in the morning from Mass. Our young people are submitting some questions, Father, to put you on the spot in the morning in Chatechesis.
That'll put me to the test. That's all right too.
And then we have Michelle and Sean are going to share their testimonies, and we have 2 talks as well, just sort of short talks, the sample of the kind of thing that we have for young people when they come to Youth 2000, Father Sean Crowley and Father Vinny Stapleton. And then we're going to have some of the volunteers who are involved in organising the festival in the afternoon, just sharing some of their experiences and their memories from over the years, and answering then any questions or anything like that your listeners might have during the day about registering or what they need if they're coming or how to invite other people, anything like that. And of course, we'll be joining you for prayer throughout the day. So we're really looking forward to it.
Fantastic. That's a full-on, get out of the way, let us take over plan there. Well done.
We're delighted to be invited, and everybody there has been wonderful. And there's a small group of us coming in tomorrow, and a few people going to join over Zoom and on the phone and things. So we'll have, please God, we'll have a great day, and it'll be a great chance just for, I think, any time that you can let other people know that there are young people in the church that are alive in the faith and that they want to share that faith with young people. And any support, that people can give in terms of praying or telling the young people that they know about the festival is always wonderful. I think a lot of young Catholics, it's been a lot of our experience that we often thought, until we found something like Youth 2000, that we might have been the only young person that we knew in our parish or in our community that was really on fire for the faith. And there's actually so many young Irish Catholics. It's really encouraging to to have everybody be together and pray together and encourage each other. So, it's just an invitation for your listeners to get involved in the mission that way, and to tell people about the festival and to come along.
Fantastic, Helena. We're delighted and excited, as they say, and we'll give it a big push as well today on our social media as well, just to get the word out. And indeed, for those who might miss out, fear of missing out, isn't that what they call FOMO? That there'll be podcasts and so on available, and we do hope, Helena, if it's okay, maybe to do a bit of video at work as well to our own social media. And if you have any smartphones or these things to connect into your own social media, maybe we can blitz the two of them with video as well.
Absolutely, certainly, yeah. We're looking forward to it, and we have people tuning in from all over. So it's a great day, please God.
Fantastic. You two fine priests there, Father Sean Crowley and Father Vinny Stapleton as well. Father Vincent comes on with us from time to time. Father Sean Crowley, I don't think hasn't been on with us that often. Now, I know Father Sean well, so that's good.
Exactly. So they're our Munster contingent for the day, so they're going to join us for a few talks. So it's great. Good. And the testimonies, and indeed, I love the motto that young people leading young people to Christ in the church, and that's exactly what you're doing. So wonderful. Yeah. Well, it's a wonderful mission. It's been around for a good while here now in Ireland, and it's great to see the generations to take up that mission to invite their peers. So we're delighted to be part of it.
Good. And you'll be energising us. You'll be bringing out the young person within, maybe for some of our listeners too.
Exactly. Please God, it'll be tomorrow. Please God, be a day that everybody will really be able to enjoy and just join us in prayer. And
a great set of hope for the church as well. And I've been to a number of U2000 festivals over the years, and there's such a buzz. It really is fantastic. And had the great grace and privilege of hearing confessions as well, and that's from the priest's point of view, marvellous when the young people come, and it may have been that they haven't been for so long. One young girl came to me once some time ago, and I don't think she was even Catholic at that stage, but because of her friends she was finding her way into the Catholic faith, and she just came for a chat, and it was just, I was blown away by that myself. I thought, now I don't know what's ever happened since. I do hope she's made the final steps into the faith. But again, talk about leading young people, even to the beginning of faith. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, thank God. No, it is. I think that's a particularly important moment, in the feedback every year. People appreciate that opportunity immensely, and it's something I think that we're not that used to going to confession maybe very often when we're coming up, through school or whatever it is, or it's like an occasional thing. And there's such grace from the sacrament, and there's such a beautiful offering from the Lord in it, and the witness of other young people sort of availing of that is very powerful for people like that girl that you just said, who don't really know what it's about or aren't sure about it. And it's one of the highlights of the festival every year to see, and it's just an opportunity for me as well to say, to thank the priests like yourself who do come to make that possible. The festival would be nearly impossible if our priests weren't so generous with their time and to come to hear confessions. For us, like I said, it's a wonderful, really the highlight.
Why wouldn't we be? I mean, and we hear so many people lamenting they don't see enough youth in the church, or where are all the young people, or what are we doing for our youth? Well, this is something massive that is being done for youth and by youth as well. So why would we not support every good work that's going on there?
We're very grateful. I suppose the Eucharist is at the centre of everything that we do. And again, it's inviting young people into this atmosphere of joy with other young people, but really you're introducing them to Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, and then to be able in that same weekend to hear about the love of God, to hear about the faith, to avail of the sacraments like confession. The festival is sort of one of a kind in the year. There's such a joy there. People are really celebrating the faith, even though everybody's at different stages in their journey. We're really, really looking forward to it. And there are buses going from all over the country, so we don't charge for the festival. It's donation only. And so we ask, whoever can, whether you're coming or whether you'd like to donate anyway, to make a donation. But all the young people come without there being any charge, and we put buses on from around the country as well to facilitate them coming, because it is a wonderful opportunity, and it's not something that we get all the time. So we just want as many young people as possible to come. So just to invite away, spread the word.
Good. Just give us a little more, maybe, Helene, on the specifics. It's Clongowes Wood. It's August the...
Yeah, August 11th to the 14th. So that's Thursday evening until Sunday afternoon.
Right. And Clongowes Wood is a like a boarding college, isn't it? So there's accommodation there?
College. Yes, exactly. So you can, if you're between 16 and 35, you can register online to come. You just need to bring a sleeping bag with you if you're staying on site overnight, and meals and board and everything is provided. And whatever you can afford to make for a donation, the cost is about €80 per person, but there's no charge actually to come. And if you need a bus to come from your area, you can sign up as well for the bus. So you just need to bring your sleeping bag with you. If you're under 18, we do need you to have, if you're between 16 and 18, to have your parental consent and to fill out those forms, and just to abide by safeguarding and make sure that everybody's safe and accounted for all weekend. And then everything is provided once you come along, and there'll be mass every day, really, really great talks. With a wonderful speaker this year as well. We'll announce that tomorrow, please God. And there'll be workshops, lots and lots of free time as well, just to get to know all these other young people. We'll try and, introduce you to other young people in your area if you don't know anybody. And lots of people have come over the years really not knowing that many people, and have left having made friends, that have stood with them for their whole lives. So it would be an encouragement if anyone's listening and they think that sounds great, but I really wouldn't know anybody, I'm not sure if I should go. Please do come. Tell us in advance if you want to. Tell us when you come to registration. Look, I'm from this place, I don't really know anybody. We know young people all over the country who are in the faith. We do exist, and we definitely can introduce you to some people, and there'll be a great welcome for you, and please do think about coming.
Fantastic. So an opportunity to really network and to get in touch, and with all this social media we have now, it's easy to keep in touch after these events as well. And like that, you have don't you have regional sort of festivals taking place through the year then afterwards? It's not just a flash in the pan.
We do actually, yeah. So this year what we have planned is there will be a social event about a month after the festival. So for people to kind of come back together and socialise, we planned for a social event in September, and then in October and November there will be 4 regional retreats. So one in each province, please God, and then we have a national retreat in Newbridge College at Christmas. And then in spring we'll start over again, and we'll have our fundraising ball in February, which is the Valentine's Ball, and then we'll have 4 more regionals, and then we'll be back around to the summer festival. So the year fills up, but it's really important that people get the opportunity to be sustained. I think community is important in sustaining the faith, especially for young people in the world as it is today. Now, we have prayer groups then weekly around the country. Some of them are taking a little break now for July and August, but if you're looking for something more regular than that, there are prayer groups all around the country meeting every week. Young people 16 to 35 praying together, having a bit of social time and tea and things afterwards as well, and just journeying together. So, we're volunteers all over. Everybody's a volunteer all over the country. They're doing tremendous work, supporting each other and inviting other young people to come to know the Lord in a way that's very particular. And like you said, just young people leading other young people to the heart of the church, really living the mission.
Fantastic. Yes, I was involved for a time when I was in Macroom with the lovely U2000 group there. Every Tuesday evening they used to meet for prayer and adoration like that, and the important cup of tea and chat and catch up with the news and the latest afterwards as well. So it's marvellous work really, and so much needed for our time. And of course you have a website and a newsletter that you send around as well. You have lots of other ways that people can learn a bit more if they wish.
Yes, so if you're interested in more about the festival or any the prayer groups, anything that we're doing, just go on to youth2000.ie. You can sign up there for the festival. All the information is there. If you have any questions at all, you can email office@youth2000.ie. Emma is working there in the office very hard this year, this week, and for the rest of the summer up until the festival. So any questions that you have, Emma knows the answers. And then as well, we have our Facebook and our Instagram. So on that, we share little snippets of what's going on, and then we have, some opportunities as well to pray together and maybe reflect on a gospel and things like that. So that was very important over the last couple of years. We did quite a bit online, and it was a way for people to stay in touch. So there is a good online community going there as well online on U2000 social media. And at the same time, we're really looking forward to being back together in person for the festival now in a few weeks.
Fantastic. Absolutely marvellous. So it's nothing that we're looking forward to to all of you coming to the studio and excuse me, and taking over the place. We can kick back and let you at it, provided you don't break anything.
We'll do our best, yes, for sure.
Very good.
We're
yes.
really looking forward to it.
No, we're delighted. It's been a long-standing sort of dream of mine indeed, or hope of mine indeed, that we could do more for you, for U2000, and help and encourage you, because the energy and the enthusiasm you bring to the faith, helps to kind of energize and bring the enthusiasm back to those who are hanging in there and thinking that the church is over, or we're doomed, or the end is nigh, or what's of the future, all these things. It just brings great dynamism and hope to the church as well. So you're doing perhaps a lot more than just bringing youth to the heart of the church. You're sort of lighting a fire under everybody in the church. So marvellous.
Yeah, and like that, thanks again for the invitation. We're really looking forward to engaging with your listeners and everything as well tomorrow.
Fantastic, great telling us. Listen,
great.
God bless you. Thanks a million for talking to me, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, please God.
Thank you. God bless.
Done. God bless you. Bye-bye for now. Excuse me. I'll clear the throat there. Now, thanks very much to Helena O'Shea there from Youth 2000. Just a quick overview of the wonderful things they have planned. Their youth festival coming up in Clongowes Wood in August. But especially their visit here tomorrow. We'll have a bit of a takeover. So a few of us will be bumped around. So Chatechesis, I'll be on the Chatechesis in the morning after Holy Mass. They'll join us for Holy Mass, and I think it's Father... blank is going to be celebrating Mass with us. I should have had it written down now. No, I have the face that just I get a senior moment. So anyway, I'll be there celebrating Holy Mass tomorrow, and they will take over the microphone from there, doing a bit of the music maybe, and hosting thereafter. They'll join me for Chatechesis. We'll have a across the table conversation, question and answer too, and they'll join us then for our usual prayer moments, our midday prayer of course, and the Angelus, and we'll let them loose then on the microphones for the rest of the day. So Ceolagus Crack will be bumped just for this week, and we'll allow the U2000 to come to the microphone and share their testimonies and talks, and as Helene was saying, samples really of what it's like for the festival, and energising us with their great youth and enthusiasm too. So very much looking forward to them joining us. It's Father Jamie is celebrating a Holy Mass for us tomorrow morning, so that'll be on air likewise. And we'll bring as much of it to the camera as we can too, and it'll be then to be watched back later should you miss out on our Facebook and YouTube channels, and no doubt on the U2000 channel as well. They'll arrange connectivity themselves for that too. So very much looking forward to it. It'll be very uplifting and upbeat and a little bit different for us here on Radio Maria. And I do hope drawing in a number of new listeners likewise, that it may be a mutually supportive venture. And my hope going forward that, please God, Youth 2000 will have a regular spot with us here on Radio Maria. We've been hoping for that for some time now. And I suppose COVID has kind of pushed all things kind of around a small bit and muscled in and overtaken things. So maybe now with this we can see a new beginning perhaps as well. We do hope to be of service here to our youth on Radio Maria as well. Tomorrow afternoon it's the Feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, so immersed in all of that at 3 o'clock instead of the Divine Mercy Chaplet. We'll be going to Mount Carmel itself for the Rosary. So this is part again of the pilgrimage around the world that we're doing to the major Marian shrines by way of sharing the Rosary with the entire world family of Radio Maria. So very much looking forward to that. As you know, we've had the Rosary on the 11th of February from Lourdes. We've had it from Nazareth, of course, the 25th of March. We had the Rosary from Medjugorje, I think was the last outing we had. And so it'll be from Mount Carmel tomorrow, our World Family Rosary at 3 o'clock tomorrow in honour of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. So something else to look forward to. It's great really that we have such variety and such blessing. So if you're free any of that time, do please listen in and join in. Keep it tuned here. Don't disconnect at all. Stay here with us, and you'll hear lots of lovely new voices and some very high energy, I'm sure, by way of our youth, bringing again youth to the church. So this is a great blessing, and we're just so delighted that Radio Maria can facilitate and encourage our young people. And for those who are not so young, like I say, I think that would be a great shot in the arm, a great blessing, a great uplift for us too. Because I'm not so young. Not as young as them anyway. It's all relative, of course. It really doesn't matter. But it just gives us great hope. Hope for the future of the church, that we have such wonderful young people in spite of, maybe because of too, but in spite of all the stuff and bother. And, you know, you might think that there's what hope is there? Or what chance have we got? Or if you're inclined to listen in too much or allow that negative stuff from secular sources to influence you overly, then you could be forgiven for having that impression that it's kind of all over. We might as well just turn off the lights, close the door and walk away. It's far from the case. The Holy Spirit is alive and well and generating all kinds of new initiatives, and we need to encourage our youth and support them and do all we can to, mull an oiga agus chukik shiit, praise the youth, and they'll come on, they'll arrive, they'll get there, they'll rise up to the challenge of their day. So thank God. So nice to share that with you again. So youth2000.ie, again, just Google all these things. If you have access to online questions there, please do connect in and find out a bit more and support and help them with your prayer as well. So now again, please do connect in with us. Please do share with us. 089 467 2000. 089 467 2000 is the text and WhatsApp number if you would like to phone us. 014 123456. 014 123456. Now some news just in here as well, just by text. Father Marius, he's planning on ahead too. He's got a Men for Christ conference that'll be live here on Radio Maria in September, Saturday the 17th, so it's a couple of months away again. But it looks like John Pridmore is going to come on and join in that. John is a great speaker and an amazing testimony. Father Jamie Tuig is lined up again, I see. David Quinn and Father Marius, of course, as well. That'll be an interesting series of talks coming up in September for you there as well. So lots to look forward to, and very encouraging indeed, and lots to share too. So now let's pause for a little piece of music and give you an opportunity if you'd like to get in touch, again by text or by email, info@radiomaria.ie. So thanks to Shane looking after the mixing desk there. Jude is in here volunteering today as well, keeping an eye out and seeing how things are done. So we'll be back very shortly after this musical break. Do get in touch, do drop a comment here on our social media. We always like to hear from you. So many thanks, Shane.
In the darkest hour, when I cannot breathe, fear is on my chest, the weight of the world on me. Everything's crashing down, everything I've known. When I wonder if I'm all alone, I remember. I and make a way. I've seen giants fall, I've seen mountains move, I've seen waters part because of you. I remember, you have always been faithful to me. I remember, even when my own eyes could not see, you were there, always there. I can't stop thinking about, I can't stop thinking about, I can't stop thinking about your goodness, goodness. I can't stop thinking about, I can't stop thinking about, I can't stop thinking about your goodness, goodness. I can't stop thinking about, I can't stop thinking about, I can't stop thinking about your goodness, goodness. I can't stop.
Well, that's Lauren Daigle. I remember her. She's a powerful voice, really, and powerful singing there too. So welcome back, Feast of St. Bonaventure. Just a little bit more about St. Bonaventure, if I may. I think it's not too inaccurate to say that he was to the Franciscans perhaps what St. Thomas Aquinas was to the Dominicans, although St. Thomas Aquinas, again, legendary figure. And they both were contemporaries. They lived around the same time. They must have kind of bounced off each other a little bit. Interesting what my book says here, that as a theologian, Bonaventure was more Augustinian and less Aristotelian than his contemporary St. Thomas Aquinas. So more of the line of St. Augustine rather than Aristotle, which is interesting, the mind of the way of thinking. He stressed the importance of an effective rather than a purely rational approach to the divine mysteries. Effective meaning, from the heart rather than from the head. Aquinas would have been maybe more centred on the head and the intellectual and logical, scholastic driven argumentation, let's say, and Bonaventure more from that. Sounds very Franciscan, more from the heart. Interesting. His main theological teaching is his commentary on Peter the Lombard's sentences, and while he frequently agreed with Aquinas in many conclusions, points on which they differed included Bonaventure's assertion that the creation of the world in time could be demonstrated by human reason. Interesting. It doesn't give me more detailing exactly how they would have differed. That human reason could conclude that the world was made in time. At any rate, his other works of importance were in the field of mystical theology, the Breviloquium and the Itinerarium Mentis ad Deum, kind of a mental journey to God, which rapidly became a classic and much read from his own day to ours. So it's maintained that he was more a mystical theologian, and Thomas Aquinas, I suppose, more of a dogmatic theologian, sort of theological ideas. At the Council of Lyon, summoned by the Pope to effect reunion with separated churches of the East, so after the great schism, of course, Orthodoxy and the Latin rites separating, Bonaventure took a prominent part. Thomas Aquinas had died on the way to that Council of Lyon, so they were indeed contemporaries and great minds summoned to help the Church in those difficult times. Bonaventure resigned his post as Master General of the Franciscans, and by conferring with the Greeks, reunion was temporarily effected. So they did come to terms a little in the 13th century. He preached at the solemn Mass of Reconciliation, but did not live to see Constantinople repudiate the reunion that was so patiently achieved. Again, this is why Pope Francis speaks and engages in all kinds of dialogue with all kinds of different people in order to effect, a journey towards communion. And like like peace itself, it has to be worked at and worked at and worked at. War is not the solution to anything, because how can there be reconciliation? Violence affects nothing but further violence. Put away the sword. Those who live by the sword, Jesus said to Peter, will die by the sword. Put your sword back in its scabbard. So this is why Pope Francis is so strong on dialogue, and more dialogue to effect reconciliation. So Bonaventure's achievements in theology and government, my writer says here, should not blind one to his personal characteristics, noted by his contemporaries: a gentle courtesy, compassion, and accessibility. So again, a very approachable man, no doubt, and a very compassionate man. That's the stuff of saints, not the fact that you have a great intellect or great wisdom or insight. Being a saint is a very different kind of thing, really. I suppose it's when you can use these things at the service of the church, indeed, especially of the poor. So he's often called the seraphic doctor. So seraphic, I suppose, seraphim, angels, mystical visions, I suppose, was perhaps Bonaventure engaging in. So that's a few extra items there on St. Bonaventure today. A very important figure in the church, and a great saint as well. And today was a memorial, so perhaps I should have taken from the Irish Missal today the full text for the memorial of St. Bonaventure. Just a couple of nice stories. There's a lovely lady, Deirdre Powell, who very kindly researches and sends us in lovely uplifting stories. And just one that she's given us here echoes the lovely story that Archbishop Slattery mentioned in his homily yesterday. He told the story of out in a rural part of South Africa, where a house had a thatched roof and a sort of straw house, but whatever way he described, they had metal pipework on the outside. But sadly it caught fire, and the grandmother and the grandson who were living in the house consumed by flames. And the young boy, the grandson, was at the window and couldn't escape, or probably just in fear and terror and wanting to save his grandmother. And sadly she did not survive the fire. But one of the villagers climbed up the outside of the house and burnt his hands on the pipework that he was climbing up in order to get to the window to encourage the boy to come down. And the lovely story afterwards then was, who would look after the boy. And so the villagers met, and the teacher volunteered to take him into his home. I think the local tradesman or carpenter or whatever he was offered to take him into his home. And so they asked the little boy, would you like to learn a trade and join the tradesman's family? Would you like to join the teacher and get a good education in his family? And the little boy looked around and he said, no, I want to join his family. The man who risked, and burnt his hands and suffered terribly to try to save him. That's the man I want to. And the Archbishop was saying, Jesus did that for us. Surely we'd want to, he's the man we'd want to join. But one of the stories Deirdre sent was something similar. It's going back a few months, I think, that it took place, that some young boys were out in the village of Sosnovka, close to Novosibirsk in Siberia, teenagers taking a walk on Orthodox Christmas Day. And they came across a very small baby girl who had been abandoned and left in a little egg box there, and couldn't believe it that on the celebration of the Orthodox Christmas they should find a little baby, and brought her for help. Naturally, she was resuscitated and brought back to health in the local hospital, and who then they couldn't find the mother of this baby, and who then were ready to adopt her, but the parents of these three boys, and they were happy to take the little baby in, and that their day, that Christmas day, for them changed utterly. It's a beautiful little story, and we hear of these things happening in the past, but I think they happen to this day too. Whatever, that poor mother was couldn't cope and left the baby there, maybe in the hope that it would be found. So again, a sad story, but with a lovely ending. And just another one she sent us through as well. It just fascinated me. And again, little cause for hope again, and uplift, and recognizing that there is tremendous good in the world. It's a bit of research that it's not something new, but something that is addressing the water shortages in some very hot climates that are near the coast. And so in places like Morocco and in Chile, other places too, they found a way of harvesting fog. Now, as an engineer, this really appealed to me. I thought, this is extraordinary. How certainly we're used to the idea of fog and cloud condenses so easily and can really wet you if it's there. But they found a way in places even where there's absolutely no rainfall. Morocco is not untypical of that, and other places too. They have actually no charted rainfall during the year, but whatever little vegetation is there survives on the foggy season. So what they can do, they can put a mesh, like a wire mesh, and stand it upright and secure it well high up in the mountains, and that during the foggy season, that the mesh will allow small droplets in the air to accumulate and become a steady flow of water. And they can provide fresh drinking water from the fog to villages, down the mountain. So they put pipework all the way down the mountain and from these mesh screens. And amazing videos online, something I never came across before. And extraordinary research that's been done, and a way of bringing water to places that are utterly arid otherwise. Not a drop of water. And this is one, again, of the many issues. Pope Francis, again, crying out to the world that they all should have at least a basic access to fresh drinking water. And this is a technology that's, again, it's not something new. It's been around for a while, but in the last 20 years or so, they've researched it a lot more thoroughly, and it's proving very fruitful. Getting, once you have enough of these meshes there, and as the fog is blowing through, it can generate an awful lot of water just from the clouds, and it has absolutely no harmful effect to the environment, and doesn't deprive anyone else of it. Just takes the moisture from the air and provides a fresh supply for the people. And the thing then at the receiving end is that it's measured out carefully and that it's not wasted. And certainly people living in those conditions know well not to waste water. So it means they can begin to grow plants and have livestock and have a more comfortable existence, because there aren't these huge arduous journeys every day just to get water from a well that might be miles away, which is how these villagers normally subsisted. It's a great story. And I did a small little bit of further research on it just from my engineering point of view. Fabulous to see that they've discovered ways of making the gathering process, harvesting fog, it sounds ridiculous, but harvesting fog more efficient. And if they provide a little electric current across the mesh screen, not only does the fog entirely condense onto the mesh, but any fog that's milling around will be drawn to the mesh because of the electrostatic force, and you'll actually harvest more than 100% of the possibility of, you draw more fog in that would normally maybe pass through the mesh otherwise naturally. Extraordinary, absolutely, and harvest, extraordinary quantities of water from the clouds, literally making it rain, I suppose, in a way. So thanks to Deirdre for that. They're just fascinating little stories. And Deirdre sends those in regularly to us, just to, again, a little sign of hope, positive news stories, you might say. That's good to get that. So if you have a little positive news story like that, or again in the way of faith, in the way of humanity, I suppose too, again, like I'm saying, the Youth 2000 coming in tomorrow, like there's great hope, there's great uplift, and there's any amount of very good news that we could do well with hearing more of, instead of the negative flow that just poisons and depresses us otherwise, because the good news is about the hope that life and health and faith brings, even in the face of great suffering and great challenges. And if it is indeed there are great challenges by way of providing something as simple as potable water. Well, here's one solution. It won't work everywhere naturally because it demands, to be near the coast somewhere where you have the temperature differences that generate fog, let's say, in that case, and the elevation in order to be able to collect it. And it's only certain locations that it's suitable. A bit like these green energies that we speak about, the sun and wind, which is all very kind of relative in its own way. Again, these are open to question as to the level of their efficiency and how well they work. But again, if it's something that we have the technology and the science and the capacity to work it out and figure it out and get the most from, like wave energy is another very interesting one. Hydroelectric. There's a lot of energy expended in actually setting all that up, and again, the balance of the good or the damage that may be done environmentally, or just the cost of producing it, and again its efficacy and efficiency. All these questions, they have to be put together. But it's good that we're pursuing these things in order to help sustain our environment, to reduce whatever we can by way of pollution, and as Pope Francis likes to put it, protecting and safeguarding our common home, which again, it exists for our use. That we are, as it were, given that stewardship of creation, that we don't abuse it, but it's there in our service in order that we give glory to God. See how the full picture kind of unfolds. And if it is that we are being wasteful of these resources, then this is where the examination of conscience comes in, and how are we providing then, especially for the poor and the needy. So some nice little news stories there of hope, and thank God indeed for these areas of growth as well. So thanks for being with me today on our Chatechesis. That's all I have time for. Always good to have your company, as I say. And indeed, if you're listening back or watching back, feel free to share with us here. Just coming up to 12 o'clock now. Let's pause for our Angelus and midday prayer.